from deep in the forest high atop the great Smoky Mountains. This is Smoky Mountain Off-Grid. Okay, here we go. Let's zoom in a little bit. Ooh. Man, I'm getting good at this stuff. Alright. Want to talk a little bit about a couple of things today. The first thing I want to talk about is what we're doing with these videos. Now, we're going to announce some changes. We're going to make some change. Oh, I got my scarf on. We're going to make some changes in, how we're doing things. Some of you folks have come over from Parler and, to YouTube, and that's good. Parler's been taken down, everybody knows that, but that's what they get for depending on Amazon. You see, 80% of all of the stuff that goes into the cloud is owned by Amazon, their servers. I'm not tech savvy, I don't know how that works exactly, but Parler's going to have to invest in their own infrastructure, and they'll be back, probably before I make another video, or not, doesn't matter. We're going to use Parler when it does come back on. So we do have some announcements to make. I guess the easiest way to explain all that, I hate it when people tell me, oh, I'll tell you later. Well, I can't tell you now because I don't know. It's going to take me a week to 10 days to figure all this stuff out. At any rate, there's opportunity here. I mean, we've got, a lot of confusion, and, people don't know what's going on. People are being, silenced and all that kind of stuff. And that, this is all par for the course. This is all the stuff that we've been forecasting for years, and the reason that we live off-grid most of the time. Anyway, and what we'll do is, I'll do a couple of segments before, I have all the information to be able to give to you, and we'll be able to take all those little pieces and put them together into one homogeneous blob of information and videos that will be an information package, including how-tos and all that stuff, to get you around all of this nonsense that's happening and that will happen in the next 12 months. So, today I wanted to talk about this new Green Deal thing that that the politicians have been pushing. While I'm talking about politicians, let me explain something. I'm not a conservative, I'm not a liberal, I'm not a libertarian, I'm not any of that stuff. Neither is Barb. Neither is a dog, and I'm not sure about the cat. But it's just common sense. I mean, our orientation is common sense. And I'm relatively good at forecasting the economy. I'm educated in Keynesian economics, right? Which is a socialist economics. But I've been through all of that in the first part of these videos. Now, let's talk about this new Green Deal that they're going to spend a whole lot of taxpayer dollars on. And why it's just a bunch of nonsense. We can go into the technicalities of it and all that kind of stuff because we live off-grid. But in our old age now we're living in town. Let me explain something about that too. For the last, last 4 or 5 years, we lived off grid on the Homestead. You know, the 100-watt panel solar array, 10 100-watt panels, you know, a kilowatt of solar panels, because back then, 100 watts was the biggest solar panel you could get. And, you know, the battery banks, and all that stuff. And we ran refrigeration and lighting, and I made lighting out of LED cells and that kind of stuff, and it works really great. We didn't, now I personally have lived off grid for a long time. No solar panels, none of that kind of stuff. And you know, heated with wood, all that kind of jazz. Now, at the Homestead, we have 2 wood stoves, but we don't use them. Because we realize that burning wood creates way more air pollutants than propane or gas, so we heat with propane, you know, at the Homestead. And here in town, we heat with natural gas. So let me explain about that. When we got to the point where, you know, Barb was emergency airlifted to the hospital, and, you know, just doctor appointments after doctor appointments after doctor appointments. You know, and I was attacked by rheumatoid arthritis. As far as I know, I've not gone to the doctors about that stuff. I haven't been to the doctors in 40 years, and I'm not going anytime soon. I can tell you that. No, but Barb's got, you know, issues with diabetes, and you know, it's a lifelong thing. So, you know, cardiac doctors and ophthalmologist. She's going through that with her eye now. She's blind in her left eye, and then her right eye, she got a bleeder in the retina, and so she's going through the Avastin treatments, you know, which there are shots in the eye to clear it up so that the laser can be done to stop the bleeders. And, you know, that's not working out real great, so we're going to have to do surgery, but we have to be cleared by a cardiologist. Anyway, we had to be in town, because hotel rooms would have just, you know, the price of hotel rooms and stuff would have just killed us financially. And we have animals. So, you know, it's hard to find a hotel that'll take animals. Anyway, and so what I did was, and if any of you are in that kind of situation, not necessarily old or something, but if you have the status to get a VA loan, man, I'd do it if I were you. When I first got out of the military, I went to a bank. They gave us a coupon, right? It was like a little certificate. And well, you know, if you take this to the bank, you know, you can get a VA loan to buy a home and all that kind of stuff. Well, I was enrolled in college and I was working full time. But I went to college under the GI Bill, and so I was getting $311 a month. And that paid for tuition and books and then some. But I work full time too. And so, you know, here we go. So that's how I got my undergraduate degree. So I went to the bank that was listed to issue VA loans. They laughed me out of the bank. And so that was the end for me. I was done. And what this certificate was supposed to do was supplement any kind of references or whatever it is. Here's a guy who served during wartime and who, is a veteran with an honorable discharge. And so, those are your references, give them a loan. Well, it was a time of high inflation and all that stuff, and banks just didn't do VA loans. So that little certificates didn't mean anything. So I lived my whole life, never even concerned about it, never even thought about it until all these medical issues arise and stuff. And I got a thing in the mail about a company, and oh boy, I should remember the company. I mean, we just bought this house a year ago last month, and I should remember their name. So I got a VA loan to buy this house. I mean, we were looking for a house in town, a modest house, not some elaborate thing. And so, we were counting on paying 20% down and doing all that kind of jazz. So I contacted this Veterans United, I think it's called. United Veterans, something like that. They gave me a T-shirt, but I don't. Anyway, the short of it is that it saved us like $29,000. I mean, we bought this place zero down. So, if you're a vet, man, use that. I mean, like today, interest rates are really low. And, we're going to go through some pretty scary inflation here shortly. So, if you're a veteran and you qualify to use a VA loan, man, do it. Do it. Okay, that's I get sidetracked pretty easy. So the green energy thing. I'm going to do, some more videos about solar power and that kind of stuff because we're going to be building a guest house out on a homestead. And we hope eventually to get back out there again full time. We're only part time out there now. But from an information standpoint, and this is all part of those little pieces that come together for that big ball of information. The government's going to spend a whole lot of taxpayer money on this stuff. They did it once before, but they're going to double down and really go after this stuff. And all you have to do, if you wonder how valid what I'm saying, what I'm going to say, is call any power company in America and ask them. Because 10 years ago, 12 years ago, whatever it was, the Obama administration, you remember the cylinder stuff, the Al Gore solar company that never worked. All of the power companies nationwide set up solar farms, and they will tell you that it's not, if it weren't for the government subsidies that they got, they'd have never done it. Just the maintenance alone, makes it hardly worth it. Solar panels get dirty, they get dusty, especially from road dust and stuff like that. And most of these solar farms that the power companies have are close to the road. So, and I can tell you from personal experience, our homestead is fine, but we don't have a lot of power needs, because I come from living off grid with no power of any kind. And from time to time I'd take a contract that was, you know, in a factory or something like that. And I rent an apartment for 6 or 12 months, you know, close to wherever it was I had the contract. And you know, at the beginning of that, oh geez, you know, I've got electricity, I can leave the lights on, it hardly costs me anything. I got a washer and a dryer, you know, I don't have to beat my clothes against a rock. I'm just kidding about that. I used to use a laundromat. And so, uh, you know, and heat, I don't even have to fuss with heat. You know, it's either electric or it's gas or, you know, whatever. And it's, you know, piped right in, and I just pay a utility company a couple of bucks a month. And air conditioning, greatest thing since sliced bread, right? By the end of that 6 months, I was really ready to be back off grid. Um, it wears on you. You turn on the faucet and like 6 gallons of water comes out of there. What a waste. You turn on the shower and like 11 gallons a minute or something. Every time you flush the toilet, it's 3 to 5 gallons of water. Man, oh man, how much waste can a person consume who's got common sense and can see how wasteful all of this stuff is? And so, yeah. Yeah, and the noise. Oh, the noise in town will keep you awake at night. You know, it's just crazy stuff. So, and that's kind of the situation that we're back in now. Because we have a house in town for, you know, medical appointments and going to the hospitals and all that stuff. You know, without having to travel overnight. And it's just it's just crazy noisy around here, and you know it's cool to have. You know, I mean, at the homestead we got hot and cold pressurized running water, off grid. Uh, you know, we use an instant hot water heaters, um, run on propane. But we'll go through all of that stuff in, you know, as we go down the road, because we're going to give you the whole package on how to circumvent all of this nonsense that's going to happen. So, you know, I kind of blew my 15 minutes telling stories, but that's the way it goes. You know, I got to burn up a week or 10 days before I can make an announcement, right, about a new business opportunity that we see. And I don't have any problem sharing it with you, because, you know, that's the old 80-20 principle. You know, 80% of people, you know, the population, they think about being in business for themselves. And they'll talk to somebody about it. And, you know, they'll conspire and say, oh, well, you ought to do this and you ought to do that. Only 20% of them will ever even research it to find out if it's feasible. And of that 20%, only 2% will ever do anything. So I'm not worried about somebody stealing my ideas or my plans or any of that kind of stuff. You know, it's no big secret anyway. It's all common sense. And it all revolves around the off-grid homestead. But there's going to be a tremendous opportunity. And it's already showing its face. And so, you know, get your head around these ideas and stuff, and you'll be able to circumvent all of this nonsense that's going to happen. I mean, we're going to have food shortages, taxes are going to increase, inflation is coming. I mean, all of the things that you've been theorizing and hearing about for the last 10 years are really going to happen. So stay tuned. All right, that's all I got for this time. So until next time, toodaloo. Oh, I can turn this off with a button. Watch.